Houston Running Zone, the ultimate podcast for runners in the Houston area, featuring the everyday runners who inspire us, clubs, gear, races, and runcations. Houston, we've got the runs.
All right, today in the zone, we have an Ironman coach, and an amazing inspirational runner. Super excited to have us with us today, Jeff Short. Jeff, welcome to the zone.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, awesome. Well, I invited you today. I met you a couple years ago. I know you're a big runner in Pearland. I really have been following your story on social media, but I invited you so you can share the story with others because you can inspire people on so many levels. So let's get right into it. What made you start running? What was that tipping point that says, I'm going to start running hardcore?
Well, I was such a drunk. I was either going to die or it had to be something else. So I guess running just kind of fell right on the table for me, sort of by accident, because I got locked out of my house and I had to run to my family's house and get a key and run back. And the backstory to that is when I was younger, I was an athlete. I was a pole vaulter in high school, and of course played football growing up and basketball. But I just let myself go and get in such bad shape. That short little mile to my parents and back just about killed me. It wiped me out for days. I was so sore, I could barely move. And that really, of all things, was the final straw. I knew for years that I couldn't keep going on the path I was going. But just the idea that I had gone for a short little walk with my wife, who we thought could have possibly been pregnant at the time. So running to get that key, this was during the summertime. I wanted to get that key as fast as I possibly could and get back to her. And I just wasn't able to do it nearly as quickly as I would have liked. And, thankfully she wasn't pregnant at the time, but that whole thing just made me take a good hard look in the mirror and say, man, something's got to give here. This is ridiculous. I'm never going to be any younger than this. I'm never going to look any better than this. And it wasn't worth a damn. I didn't look worth a damn. I didn't worth a damn. And so I poured out the bottle of vodka that day and just started going out for a little mile walk, little jog here and there, 30 seconds to begin with, 30 seconds jogging,
Wow.
Little couch to 5K apps. And that's what started it. So I'll leave it off there. That's what started the journey, if you will.
Well, yeah, 1 mile can change. And most of the time we have these red alerts like, oh, we got to do something. And then a week later, we don't do jack, right? We're like,
That's
I ran
right.
for 30 seconds. I'm sore. I wasn't sore before I ran, so I'm not going to run. So what made you be consistent? Or was it just like you had so many red alerts that says, okay, this time I need to make a giant change? What made you stay motivated?
Everything that you just said, I'd had so many red alerts. And for anybody listening that has ever struggled with any kind of addiction, you can just BS yourself on and on. Oh, well, I'm not that bad. Oh, I'm not as bad as so-and-so. Oh, it's not nearly as bad as, and you just play that game with yourself until, something really, really bad happens or you pass the point of no return, I suppose. So sticking with it, I guess you could always say I've had an addictive personality. And so in the beginning, anger, I think, drove a lot of it, drove me to push harder and go a little further each day. And then the serenity of it began to kind of take over. Never been an overly huge religious person, but I think anybody that gets into this and spends any time out there with the sun rising, jogging around for any considerable amount of time, you start to think about things a little deeper. And so I just kept going. 5K, made it to the point where I could jog a 5K without stopping. And so I signed up for my very first 5K.
That'll do it. Yep.
Kingwood, I don't remember, Kingwood something or other. And I finished third to last in my age group. It was great. Finished third to last. But what I remember about that run the most is I sat out on that dock. There was a dock behind the finish line went out to this dock. I sat down and I just felt so good, so damn good. I was smiling. It brought back all the happy memories of sports that I had had growing up. And I said to myself, I'm going to get good at this. I don't care, what it takes from here. I made it to a 5K. I'm going to get good at this. And so I kept pushing. And by Christmas, this was in September, by Christmas, I finished third in my age group at the Santa Hustle in Galveston. So
third from last and third from first, or third from the top. Yeah, that's super cool.
Third to last to third in my age group. So
I guess the addictive personality. So, I notice a lot of runners, or they're either working out, they're cross training, they're running, and if they miss a day or miss 2 days, the anger comes back. Does that ever happen to you?
Yes, frequently. It still does. Anybody that knows me, my wife can attest to it personally. My mom and dad, my family is just so unbelievably supportive. My work partner, if I haven't done something, even knowing what I know now as a coach, it really gets to you. It really does. But once you've been doing it a while, you start to get a little wiser. You have to taper back for certain events and things like that. But it definitely it gets to you for sure. That never, no matter if you got the drive, that's just never going away.
Well, you definitely have the drive. I'm curious how you make time, because I like to bring people on from all walks of life. That way people say, well, I kind of resonate with them. So like me, I'm kind of like you, married, work, father. So I may have different challenges than someone that has, well, maybe I'm a single father with 7 kids, and so they may have different challenges. So I kind of like to bring all people around. So if you know anybody that does an inspirational runner, feel free to send them my way. But you work, you coach, you're an Ironman coach, married, father. How are you making time? How do you set aside a time? Is it a commitment? How are you making it work?
It's tough, man. It really now is starting to hit home, because my wife and I had our first baby at the end of September. We turned 3 months just a day or two ago. And so with the baby in the equation now, again, I have such an we both have incredibly supportive families that help out tremendously. And we're just so beyond thankful for that. But it is getting tougher. I'm not going to lie. I know it annoys the wife if I'm not home by X time in the evening or whatever. So in regards to that, if this is going to be something that you do, you've got to find the right places, the right time. For a lot of people, getting up super early in the morning is the deal. 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not huge on that. I'll do that a couple times a week to get in a bike, or a swim during the Ironman season. But fortunately, I have a pretty good lunch hour and a nice little area to run behind where I work. So I can normally squeeze in a good 7 or 8 mile run, during lunchtime, and do something in the afternoon right after work, and then make it home. And, to your point, it's tough, and there's certainly sacrifices, but if fitness is going to be on the top of your list somewhere, then you've got to cut some of the other things that maybe you used to do, video games or, other hobbies or things like that. Those just kind of have to go by the wayside if fitness and running and health is going to be your priority.
Oh, super cool. Yeah, that's neat. You're making it work, but at the same time, jogging strollers are abundant. So once they start getting a little bit neck control, you can really make.
I haven't thought about that yet, man. I may have to look into that a little bit here.
We had one that was actually made by Jeep, so I was like, well, it's got to be rugged.
Cool.
She never fell out of it, so we're good. I mean, she was up there until, I don't know, probably 5 years old. We were pushing her. It's a good workout. It's a lot.
I'm just excited to get him up and running. He's a strong little guy, and as soon as we can get him into a kid's 1K, man, we're all about it. So.
Super cool. Well, moving forward, I know that for a lot of runners, especially just getting started, but even for me, I've been running for 10 years, and it's still super cool to have an awesome medal. Is it still have that same? Is it maybe just some medals? What do they represent to you? Is it the accomplishment, or is it the accomplishment before the race?
Oh man, the medals. Man, I wish you could see what I'm looking at right here. My entire game room is just, wall, wall to wall. Yeah, I love the medals, man. I guess it's a little bit vain, but I always kind of search that out on the running websites, to see if there's some kind of finisher or something or other. Yeah, it's more of I was there, been there, done that.
So it sparks some memory for you then?
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Cool.
can't remember a lot of the stuff from the dark years, the dark decades of drinking and things, but I can look at each one of those medals and go, oh, yeah, I remember that race. Or, oh, yeah, I remember that race. So most of the memories are good, except for I did have one. I'll try to keep this not gross, but Bluebell Half Marathon a couple of years ago. I went out and my buddy and I were like right in the front, just absolutely chasing the police car. And about 3 miles in, that bad Chinese food I had the night before started kicking in. And I had to make 4 stops in that race in the middle of a pasture with cows looking at me. And still finished about, I think, 7th overall. But yeah, I'll forever look at that Bluebell medal and remember that race. Sure.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it sparks a memory. That's why I'm having a hard time giving mine out, just because I look at it, I was like, I remember that race. And I think big time, I think that's key to all the race directors out there. If you can make a medal, make it happen, because, there's so many people that maybe they got out of a bad relationship or a bad relationship with drinking, or maybe they just lost a bunch of weight, and it makes a huge, huge difference, I think.
Yeah, really, it does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Did you just do one without a medal, and it wasn't. We're not going here to throw anybody out of the bus, but what was your thought process going? What in the world are they thinking?
Okay, so just to keep it nice and everything, I'll leave the name of the race out. But it wasn't too long ago, and it was a very, very long race, and it was raining extremely hard, and came through the finish line after going to war with that race, and essentially I was handed a banana. And a t-shirt, and that was it. The whole last, I'll say 8 miles of the race, I kept thinking, oh man, this better be a good medal for running in ankle deep water. And yeah, well, it was a good banana, I'll say that. But yeah, I was a little let down. I guess you saw that post on my Facebook, huh?
Yeah, I'd probably chop up the shirt and put it around a ribbon or something, just so you have that memory of never going back.
That's funny.
I don't even know about your diet. Any nutrition hacks or things that you're kind of make it easy for you to eat?
Originally, kind of went off the deep end with that as well. I think it was one of the reasons I dropped as much weight as I did right off the bat. When you stop drinking, it just naturally falls off of you. I mean, people thought I had cancer for a while. I actually had a few people saying, "Are you okay?" But no, I went with a pretty healthy diet right off the bat. Recently, within the last year, I actually hired a woman named Lisa. She works for Focused Fit Nutrition, Lisa Davis Ferrara. She's just been absolutely fantastic. She watches my Nutrition Pal, the Under Armour app, and offers me feedback with macros and things like that. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. But to answer your question, I eat a lot of turkey, vegetables, of course, but you can drive yourself nuts with that stuff as well. I hit a point where it was like, man, I am just not going to feel guilty about having a little bit of ice cream in the evening. So if you're working out and you're trying your best to eat as well as you can, I don't think anybody should drive themselves nuts, but especially during holiday season. But for nutrition hacks, I really think, meal prepping is a good thing. We cook a lot of rice, beans, turkey, stuff like that on the weekends, things that you can kind of pack up and throw in a tortilla or throw in a salad. Fruit, getting some good fruit in there at lunchtime every day. That really kind of fills you up. So if you're in the habit of going out to Taco Bell or whatever for lunch, that stuff has so many chemicals in it. It leaves you feeling more hungry than a lot of times than before you ate it. But if you can just get something really good in there midday, fruits, vegetables, it's surprising. You feel a lot more full, and it'll definitely carry you through the rest of the day. So I think that's probably the biggest, tip or anything I can offer anybody just offhand.
Ah, super cool. I definitely want to ask about, your coaching and some more of your races. But my big one is you've done an Ironman. I'm not sure how many you've done, but was that ever, when you first started, you're like, I just want to be able to run for 30 seconds. And now you're like, okay, now I want to place in a 5K. When did the Ironman come up, or was that always like this giant goal because you'd done athletics before?
No, I didn't even know what an Ironman was when I first started out at this. I think I was just in such a dark place for a long time mentally, that with every distance, I started to believe more. Since sitting out on that dock in Kingwood after that 5K, I thought, okay, I'm going to get good at this. And then I jumped in a race that I think you support pretty well, the Texas Bridge Series. And the notion of running a 10K, running from Galveston Island to Tiki Island and back, that just seemed like this mind-blowing thing. How can you possibly do that? And that entire race, it was painful, but I just remember smiling the whole way, watching the sunrise over the bridge and everything. And so it was like, bam, 10K done. Okay, what's next? And I remember where I was at 24 Hour Fitness, sitting in the sauna. And I thought, oh my God, the LaPorte half marathon. How am I going to? So I signed up. And
that's the way to do it. Sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was rough. And then went home that night and thought, everybody in the world is going to think I'm crazy, because I had just heard horror stories about marathon experiences and, people being hosed off by fire trucks. And there's some kind of urban legend out there of people's nipples rubbing off if they're, completely rubbing off if they wear the wrong shirt. Yep. I took the plunge, signed up for Chevron, and made it through that in January. And then pretty immediately after that, I started seeing advertisements for triathlon stuff. And triathlon, what's that? So I kind of looked into it, and I found one over here in Silver Lake in Pearland. And it was today. So I signed up for that and went with a $200 Walmart bicycle, and just some ghetto crappy stuff, man. But I made it through that, and it was so much fun that I went ahead and took the plunge. And I thought, wow, okay. At that point, I had heard of Ironman. So I was like, okay, there's a 70.3, there's a half Ironman out in Lubbock in a month and a half. Let me just go ahead and sign up for that. And instantly, other coaches started messaging me, you've lost your mind. This is Lubbock, the desert heat out there, the dry heat's going to get you.
Oh, yeah.
And it was miserable, absolutely miserable, man. But I made it through that one. And then at that point, I'd come far enough. It was like, okay, I'm going to set my eyes on the legitimate Ironman. And in Texas the next year. And that was rough too, but it never gets less painful. It gets easier, I guess.
Well, now that you're an Ironman, is it Ironman certified coach? Is that the terminology?
Yes. Yeah.
So would you ever tell your clients, don't do that, what I did? Or you're like, okay, let's do it, but let's make it safe? Or how do you manage that? Because people have these big goals.
My good friend Dave at Wild Pear Running says, do as I say, not as I do. And I love that. I think that's true. No, since then, man, I've made it through 3 fulls, including Florida, back in November. And I don't even know, 7 or 8 halves, I think. But, you learn something from each one. And looking back at it, I probably wouldn't have made the progression as rapidly as I did. I would advise most people to take their time a little bit more than I did, because I dealt with an entire slew of IT band injuries and ankle.
Yeah.
That strength work is key to keeping that stuff away for sure. But I definitely, when I work with some of the people that I work with, I keep that in mind. Their entire athletic background, everybody's different. You have to look at the broad scheme of their life and what they want to accomplish. Some people just want to make it through the half Ironman or the full Ironman distance, and time be damned. And I think that's a great first goal for any race of any distance, is accomplish the distance and then worry about the time.
You are in the Houston running zone. We've got the runs.
actually want to talk a little bit about your coaching. Should have asked you this before I hit record, but no, we'll just edit it out. But you mentioned on your site you do kind of like a free 2-week personalized training plan. Now, how does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, nobody's getting rich off coaching. And if there's anybody listening out there that was in that same place as me, sometimes it's difficult to talk about that. And you just feel kind of hopeless and lost in that haze of BSing yourself along the road. Like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, maybe next week I'll get serious, blah, blah, blah. So if there's anything I can do to help anybody like tomorrow, I don't give a damn about the money. Let's just get you out the door. Let's take a few steps down the stairs or something. So anybody that ever wants to work with me, my advice is free, for a limited time.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns. I'm available. I just want to help people out with this. So I think on my site it says 2 weeks. Just tell me what you're looking to accomplish. If it's Bob's 5K, or if you want to set your sights on something further, maybe you've hit a plateau in your training. You're not quite sure how to up it or what the next steps are. I'd love to hear about it. Love to offer some suggestions. Write you up a little training plan, see how you like it. With some people that were starting at the very, very basics, the very bottom of the totem pole, I'd have them walk their neighborhood or walk the track a couple of times, during the week, and then give it a full all-out effort. Just walk in or maybe toss in a small amount of jogging and time it on the weekend, and then do that for a couple of weeks and start to see if you see any improvement from there. So I think, just serving people, getting them motivated, getting them seeing that I can do something. I can do this. Maybe it's possible I can drop a few extra pounds. If you get people motivated about that and you get them excited and you serve them a little bit, then, the coaching stuff comes secondary to that. To me, if you want to sign up and let me be your ongoing coach, which I'd love to do. But, just helping people out is what I want to do the most.
Because if you look at your site, you've accomplished a lot. You're a certified Ironman coach, but at the same time, you want to help everybody, which is super cool. Because if you're like yourself years ago, you can't make it out the door 30 seconds. You just want to walk and eventually walk a 5K. Super cool, I'm sure. And how do people find out about you? Is it through your Facebook page, Instagram?
If you search my name on Facebook, Jeff Short, Ironman certified coach and personal fitness coach, it comes up. Jeff Short, Ironman, all one word, at gmail.com, or at Jeff Short Ironman on Instagram. You should get the same picture, same profile. So.
All right. Super cool. Yeah. We'll definitely, I'll actually add that to the show notes as well. Well, kind of moving forward, just want to get a couple more race stories from you. I saw you did the Texas 10K series. Was that in Conroe?
Yeah, the other day up in Conroe, Texas 10, absolutely great series. I took second place in my age group overall last year with the point system, mainly because one of the races I missed because I was doing Ironman Maryland. I'm not bitter about that series. Let me think. Funny race stories, disgusting race stories. What are you looking for?
Well, I'm just glad at the end of 2020 races are back. Obviously limited capacity, and I'm going to be talking to Willie later on today, and we'll see, when the episodes air as well. But how were they doing it? And I'll get the full story from them. But how were they doing it that made you feel safe? And other people, not everyone's going to feel safe 100%, but right. The people that want to participate, how do they make it work?
Well, I think the people that want to participate, the diehard crazies like me, especially, despite how you feel about this situation, whether you believe everything, whether you don't believe everything, I've noticed the races that I've done, everybody's willing to do what the race directors are being told by the counties needs to happen. That's my take on it. Meaning, if the race directors are able to get the permits, I'm sure the counties are saying there has to be X, Y, and Z rules in place. So at the races, that means, either staggering the starts, or like in the case of the Texas 10 series, sort of staggered the starts, wave start 1 and 2, but everybody had a mask up until they crossed the starting line. And then at that point, you could just toss it off to the side. So, and same thing true coming through the finish line. They ask you to put a mask back on. And of course, when you come through the finish line, depending on the race distance, you don't even know your hand from last Tuesday. So they're pretty nice, just giving you a mask and saying, here, if you wouldn't mind, once you catch your breath, put that on. But everybody that I've seen has been more than willing to do the necessary things to keep the races going. It's been a little bit of a letdown that we haven't had the awards ceremonies afterwards. And like even the 12K at Christmas, they did a fantastic job of that. Houston Run Company this last weekend.
Oh, they're great too.
Group awards and things, which that's cool. I get that. So, to your point, the race directors are doing everything they can possibly do to make everybody feel safe and accommodating the counties at the same time.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a race director, the layers and layers of government. One person says, nope.
No, absolutely. This is a tough time for race directors. And I think anybody with half a brain that's been doing this for a while, we all realize it's a tough time for the race directors. And I know no race director intentionally wants to put on a virtual race, quote unquote. But they've had to do what they've had to do to get by, and there it is.
Yeah. Texas 10 series. He also does the Woodlands Marathon, Houston Run Company. They do awesome stuff. I saw. Was that your 100th race? I saw that.
That was my 100th race. Yeah, on the 12K of Christmas. So it looks like a fourth overall in that, but it was funny because of the wave start. There were some people that weren't running sixes, in my wave. So I was the first corral to go off. So the whole time I was in the front, which is kind of an unusual thing for me. I'm usually somewhere up there, but I'm usually not the first person. And so the whole time running through the warehouse district, I kept thinking, oh God, please don't let me miss a cone. Don't let me miss a turn and off into some clandestine field somewhere.
Yeah. I'd imagine it's hard. I've never been in that situation, but I'd imagine it's hard if you have nobody to chase. Your motivation is hard. But yeah, they're making it work. They're doing awesome, and I'm so happy that any race director can put on any sort of race, and of course have an awesome medal. Well, before I let you go, I just have one more question. Any fun race recommendations? Nothing that I'm associated with, because people hear enough about me.
No, your races are fantastic.
Yeah, any well, I'm a volunteer, so yeah, it's all good. Any other race recommendations that you really look forward to? It doesn't have to be big. It can be just whatever is just man, that was fun.
Yeah, the RAS, of course, series, the Texas Bridge series is really neat. We've kind of been messed out of Kima for a while with different things, construction. But when I say Texas 10 series, they also have a 5-mile series for anyone that's maybe not quite ready to take on the 10. So their series is just fantastic. Absolutely great. Races that I will continue to do every year, of course, Chevron Houston Marathon. That was my first. Wow. Always hold a very special place. So does the Lubbock, the Ironman 70.3 Lubbock out there. It's hot, it's miserable, but that was my first half Ironman, and boy, oh boy, what a great race that is. Some of my brothers in the Pearland Triathlon Racing Club have signed up for that one as well this coming year. So I'm dragging them out to the desert for that one. There's a little-known run called Gourdy's Pumpkin Run in LaGrange. It's a 5K trail run type thing. I'm not a big trail runner, but that one is really fun. They have all these barnyard animals and baby Jersey cows and things for you to play with. Just judging by the look of surprise on your face, it looks like you've probably not heard of that one.
No, this is great. It's a pumpkin run. It's September, October-ish.
Yeah. And part of that deal, man, is they have something called the Tough Pumpkin. And if you run the 5K while carrying a 10-pound pumpkin, they give you a special extra medal for that. And my first year, I didn't know any better. So I ran with the thing and got done. And it It looked like I had shotgun blast bruises all over my chest. So there's a funny picture somewhere on my website. I'm carrying this pumpkin last year in an Ironman jersey or singlet, and I have a kitchen towel with duct tape wrapped around the pumpkin at the top just to keep the pumpkin stem from giving me the bruises while running. I've had a lot of questions about what are you doing with a pumpkin wrapped in a dishcloth? So, there's that one. Actually, let me look over here real quick at my list, and I'll see if I can find one more, okay? Well, there's a whole list I can not recommend. But I think the Santa Hustle in Galveston is also fun every year. That's always the same weekend as Dallas BMW, it seems like. So you have to kind of make a choice if you want to run more of a serious big city race, or if you want to run, where they pass out cookies and milk every mile and put you in a Santa Claus beard. So it's a fun race, especially the half marathon, 6 miles down the seawall. So you can watch the sunrise in the morning for that. That's kind of cool.
Oh, super. Have you ever done the Galveston Marathon or half marathon, the one in February?
I have not. I've heard about it, but that always seems to fall like the same time as hot chocolate. And I think there's something else in February that maybe the Texas 10 College Station.
Oh, could be, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the Austin Marathon.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it falls on the same weekend, almost always is that one. Austin is great. Have you ever done Austin?
Yeah, yes. I paced Galveston for 5 years, and I wanted to do Austin. I enjoyed Austin. I did the half. I loved it.
Yeah, I do the half every year, and boy, oh boy, it's a great race, the downhill parts. But what do you think of that monster at mile 12?
Yeah, everybody warned me, and I forgot that Austin has real hills. So like I think it was the second 5K from 5K to 10K. I was flying. I was like, This is an easy course. Well, it's because it was downhill. I didn't really check. All I thought was mile 12. Be careful.
Yeah. There's one more somewhere around 7. I want to say 7 or 8. You run through a park, and then it's not a big hill just by looking at it, but I think it's the steepness of it. Man. That 7th or 8th mile is always considerable 20, 25 seconds slower. But yeah, mile 12 for anybody listening, God be with you. If you're a 7-minute a miler, you're going to watch that pace slow to about 10:35 real quick. For a bit.
Yeah. Somebody asked if I was okay. I was not happy.
Oh, the people on the side of the road?
Yeah, the people that were passing me.
Oh my God, really?
I was like, I was still running. I guess I was running really slow. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I bet we go on and on. I'll definitely have you back because you'll have some amazing stories here in a couple months when racing.
Yeah, I'll try to write them down next time. And I appreciate you having me on so much. But if I can just add one more thing, for anybody out there listening, you can make it back to the light. I don't care how far gone you think you are. Your body will actually bounce back faster than you realize it will if you just fuel it right, take care of yourself a little bit. You just take those first steps, man, just whether it's walking or whatever it is, just take a couple of steps out the front door, have faith and go for it, man. And I don't regret 1 second of this. This has been like a renaissance, a rebirth in my life. It's just been awesome. I never would have thought running and cycling, swimming would have brought what it's brought to my life. And if I can share that in any way with anybody or motivate anybody to do that, man, absolutely go for it.
I appreciate it. And we'll definitely put a link to your Facebook page, as well as, hey, keep adding those diary entries because people love to hear from you. And these are great stuff.
Awesome, man. I'm glad. And I'll try to remember to write down some more stories, man. I think of these things, in the middle of the night and like, oh yeah, that and that. So yeah, I'd love to come back and share some more stories with you.
Awesome. Thanks again. Well, this podcast is of course free. All we ask is if you know somebody who could use this information, just share it with them. And if you want to be the first to find out about upcoming weekly episodes, simply hit the subscribe, follow button. Just it kind of depends on what podcast platform you're listening to. And of course, if you like the episode, if you could rate us 5 stars, it kind of helps us out. And of course, add a review if you're on Apple Podcasts. Looking forward to sharing another episode next week.
Thanks for visiting the Houston Running Zone. If you know someone you'd like to be featured in the zone, go to thehoustonrunningzone.com and send us a message. Until next week, always remember, Houston, we've got the runs.